Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jared, and today I want to bring you some tips and tricks on how to efficiently VOD review. Now, this is definitely something that's in my area of expertise, as I've played a lot of different kinds of competitive games, and every game I play, I'm generally able to get to a pretty high ranking in the ladders, and that is specifically due to my ability of being able to improve at them and knowing how to do so. And I'm here to try and share that with you. Now, the most important concept of improving, I kind of want to compare to real sports here. Is so if I were to ask, what's the difference between you and LeBron James? Well, LeBron James is 6'8". He's 240 pounds. He moves like he's a 5'6" person, and to put it plainly, he's just a freak of nature. Like there's just no matter what I do, I just cannot perform some feats that LeBron James can do, and that's just how it is. But now going back to esports, and this is why I love esports so much, is what's the difference between me, or what's the difference between you and Faker or Showmaker? They play the exact same game you do. In fact, there's no difference between a Bronze 1 game and a game played in the World Finals. They are the exact same. You can have the exact same key presses and get the exact same result, but what the difference is if you sit there and ask yourself, well, you may come up with these answers, well, all this game experience, all this stuff, but to put it for our most simplest terms and for the point of this video is you don't know. And in specific, you don't know what you don't know. And now this is something that sounds weird, and I tell this to people all the time, and they give me the exact same answer of what? And basically, if you knew what the difference is between you and Faker, you wouldn't be doing them. Like, you wouldn't be doing your mistakes that make up the differences, but you do not know what those mistakes you're making is. You need to figure out how to identify them, and that's what I'm here to try and help you with. So, in order to counteract this, you need to frequently be asking yourself questions behind the reasonings and decisions that they're making and what you yourself would do in these situations. When the decision that you yourself would make differs from the actual decision made, reflect upon the possible reasoning on why that decision was made. So, you need to constantly be thinking when you're watching like the VOD of whatever pro player you are, or whatever pro you're watching, high challenger player, whatever, is what would I be doing in this scenario? And when it becomes different, that's when you can start asking yourself, well, why is this decision making? And then also what I really like to do is think, is it a good decision? Because, pro players make mistakes too. No matter how good you are, you're going to make mistakes. And then you can ask yourself this. And I think when you're asking yourself that, that's really where you are able to improve or where you make the most improvement in your gameplay, is by just thinking of the reasonings and are these sound plays, should I be following what I'm seeing? And that's really all there is. I mean, it's no rocket science. This is really short here before I start getting into uh or before I start going into like a VOD to help you guys out as well. But I mean, if you get this down, the sky's the limit. Like, you should always be able to just keep slowly chipping away and getting better and better. And this is just the best way, the easy way. If there was an easy way to improve at League of Legends or to improve at any game, this is it right here. All of these pro players have figured out how to play the game at the top level. And if you can watch them and replicate what they are doing, you are able to basically, you're playing the game at the top level if you exactly replicate. And then if you're able to discover the reasons of why the decisions that they are making are good, you are now a top level player. You can, no matter what champion you're playing, the reasonings, what you need to do to play the game well, and you can play them. That's why there's so many pro players that can just take a champion pick that they've hardly ever played before and still play really well. It's because they just know the basics of the game of what they should be doing, and they can just piece that into what their champion does, despite not really having that good of knowledge on the champ. And the other biggest thing is focus, 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 because the one game or one VOD review where you're completely focused on examining everything that they're doing is just as good as like 6 hours of VOD reviewing where you're just kind of skipping through it and lazily looking at it, not really paying attention. That's basically worthless. But just one VOD review a day where you're completely focused on comparing and contrasting what you would be doing can lead to massive improvements. All right, now I want to go and show you where can you find VODs. And my easiest way, or the best way I like to do this, is you'll see I already have a bunch of stuff here brought up, but all you have to do is search a pro. Okay, let's say I want to watch Showmaker. I just click Showmaker Stream. And people just upload these all the time, and I click on the filter here, and then I go and relevant or sort by upload date. And now it's just showing me everything that people have posted recently. Then I can go and watch. I can see here, I can see where people have put individual games if I see a matchup I like, or generally there is somebody who will post, you can see I already watched right here, of full streams. And then you can go and you can just watch Showmaker play. And I really like this better than just like the in-game VODs that you can also find as well, because it shows stuff like their camera movement and their mouse movement and things like that. It's really nice, really helpful. All right, now going into the VOD review, I want to just watch Dopa. He's playing Orianna versus Zed. The junglers are Hecarim and Nunu. It's really all you need to know about it for now. As I'm not going to actually be doing like a full VOD review, but I'm going to be more so showing what's like going on in my mind when I'm watching a VOD review and how I like to compare things. I think this is a pretty good analysis for myself, because Orianna is a champion where I haven't had the best win rate with this season, and Dopa, obviously a very good Orianna player, and I'm going to be able to really easily like compare what I would do and hopefully find a lot of differences and things that I can apply to make the game better. All right, so we'll start off into the game. Looks like Dopa's team is going to be going for an invade. So right here, level 1, I see his entire team is walking up into the top side. Myself, I probably would be following my team right here. Dopa, you're going to see he knows his entire team is on the... His entire team is up here top. That means there's nobody getting vision here. So he's going to go ahead and scout, place his ward already down early, and go ahead and safely scout out for his team. Because generally if they get spotted on the top side, the other team's going to try and push in and get an advantage. And now his team can safely enter their red side jungle without getting bushwookied by the other team. I definitely think this is a really smart play. This is something that I probably would never do. I would always just go ahead and sit on the side with my team. So already here's a clear difference in what high-level player like Dope is doing and the difference from myself. Right here. So the team, they actually got spotted. Pause. All right, the team got spotted out on the ward, and they saw where they warded, and the Zed backed and swapped to a sweeper. And the only thing to know about this is the Zed and Gnar are now going to hit level 2 off of the first wave. So if you didn't know that, now you do know that, but I just think that's funny that the Zed swapped out for the sweeper. So, all right, now going into the lane, notice how another yet distinct difference and what Dopa is doing. Dopa has no intentions right now of harassing him. If I was playing myself, I would be trying to step up and around this area and using my auto attacks to poke off the Zed. Now, why might that be? Why is Dopa playing different? Well, maybe he doesn't care about poking the Zed. It's a Nunu, so Nunu could potentially gank early, and he doesn't want to put himself in that scenario, or he doesn't want to risk getting hit by ZQs where he can get poked down, and he's perfectly fine with just making sure his HP and resources stay high so he can help out his Hecarim when the time being. So again, another difference between us. And we're only level 1 in, and I've already spotted 2 things between myself and what Dopa does. And really, when you're watching, just watch their mouse movements. Watch like their positioning in these waves. Notice how as Zed walks around, how does Dopa move? How does he react? He's not looking to poke the Zed. He's just making sure he gets his CS. Now the wave's crashing. Zed has to focus on getting the minions. Now he's probably going to be looking, can he land an ability 2 on him? Maybe get a free auto in, just like that. Now again, he used his ward early. And it's a Nunu, hard ganking jungler. He doesn't want to get caught out just trying to get a little bit of poke on it. So he's going to back off here. And he's playing really safe, really respecting the fact that a Nunu gank could happen. Doesn't want to get caught by that. Okay. Quick thing, I'm going to go back here. Watch this. Notice. So he sits back, plays back, plays back. As the cannon minion's going to get low here, the Zed has to hit it. And as soon as the Zed goes to attack the cannon minion, he steps up and hits him with the QW for the trade, because Zed is completely defenseless during that time. And it's a really good time. That is when you should be trading. You should never just be like blindly taking trades and whatnot. But when they're going for that last hit on the minion, that's when it's a timer for you to get free hits on. And also notice right here too. So Dopa was playing back on the front line. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to start stepping up to like right here in the lane. What are the reasons for this? Why does he make his decision now to start stepping up? And that's because he just got out the ZW, so Zed can't really trade that effectively into him. So he does have a few seconds where he can step up and force Zed to pressure, or force Zed with pressure, because the Zed can't trade back and the minion wave is pushing into him. So therefore, it's completely safe. The only thing he has to watch out for is a Nunu gank, but he had Nunu gank, or he had vision of Nunu on the bot side. So he knew he was safe from that. Again, wait, I just realized, I don't know why Zed has Arcane Comet. I can't say I've seen that myself, but interesting nonetheless. You can't see it because my camera is covering it, but the account he's playing on is currently Grandmaster 430 LP. It's not like this is a low MMR account. All right, Thresh coming up here for a gank. Hook misses. Set W back down. Dope is just going to push out the waves. He has the minion wave shoving into him. And so you can see here, so something just comparing and contrasting my gameplay from Dopa's is I've always tried to play a lot more aggressive here in these earlier levels. Dopa's not hardly doing anything. He's happy to just farm and, get some poke where he can and just keep his HP up high. And he's perfectly fine. And I mean, it makes sense too, because I mean, Orianna has decent scaling. Oh, Zed gank coming in there. Again, just get some damage out on the Zed. Looks like he's, by queuing forward, he's probably going to be trying to push in the stacked wave to where he can get a good recall off. All right, now going back to what I was saying, Orianna scales fine. It makes sense that he would be perfectly happy to just play a nice, slow, consistent laning phase where he can get farm and just, not be greedy with his poking. Don't leave himself to ganks to where the Nunu can snowball by abusing mid. And we'll see if he presses tab here. He's TPing back to mid. He's going to push it back in. This is a part where it does suck, is you can't, as VOD reviewing like this, as opposed to like in client. Okay, he just did it. Let's try and pause it on this. All right, he has a 20 CS lead at 5 minutes on the Zed. And what is he? What has Dopa done mechanically to outplay? He's done nothing. It's not like pro players. This is one thing that I dislike from like the VOD reviews from like Midbeast, so to speak, is that every game like he shows, it's the other person is almost always just popping off, and it I feel like it kind of skews people's perception of high low players. You know, they're not just popping off mechanically outplay from start to beginning every single game. You know, it's just there are games where the opportunities to just win throughout the early and snowball aren't there. And you don't see Dopa just like forcing the play, stepping up in the lane, playing super aggressive to where he's getting caught and making these mistakes. He's happy to just sit back and scale into the game and not be forcing anything. Again, all right, so he sees. So just to the, or going back and looking at this, so he has his lane priority, and he queues through right here to the wave and hits the Z at the same time. And so by him doing this, we can tell that he's wanting to keep the lane shoving into the Z to where he can look for poke under his tower. And then this is what allows him. He gets to come over here and then help his team out. If he's not doing this, if he's still continuing to stay back, Zed maybe gets the first look. He decides, you know what, it's not worth it. He can't help his team out at all, and he walks back. But noticing off this, he's wanting, with Zed's short range, he's wanting to not so much as just hard pressure the Zed in, but just to make sure he's keeping the Zed in place by slow pushing these waves into him, and he's just consistently just looking for the small poke as Zed tries to CS. And here, the ulti, Zed poked out. It's not going to greed. He's not trying to kill the Zed or anything. He's just making it so the Zed can't do anything on the map, and he's the one with the pressure. You know, he's not trying to greed for the kills or anything. He's just making the Zed's life hard. And because of this, he's going to be getting a massive advantage. Again, comparing to what myself, Ori, I may get greedy to try and kill this Zed. I may be trying to push my lead more than just a CS lead, but 20 CS at 6 minutes is a huge lead. And if he keeps this up, he's going to have a massive lead into it. Now, going back into this, he's comes back into the lane and immediately just continues right where he left off. He's just slow pushing the wave in. Another thing I want to talk about too is his item buy. He's perfectly fine with waiting to get the Seeker's Arm Guard. Reasons why that might be, generally myself, I would just rush for the Seeker's Arm Guard straight off the bat. But I guess he's comfortable enough, doesn't think the Zed's good enough. Maybe he thinks the Zed's not playing aggressive or anything. He's perfectly fine with just getting these early cost-efficient stat items and thinks he can maybe push his advantage a bit more. Again, safely pokes. He's not going in. He's not even trying to use his autos really to weave in hardly. He's just safely going in, poking with his Q, poking with his W, and he's just getting out. Again, just Q through, just pushing the waves in. This Zed, now, or the Zed just really doesn't have like any way he can impact. You know, this Zed's not doing anything. And the rest of the Zed's team's losing, a Zed here would be wanting to like look to try and make plays, like, you know, help his team out. His side lanes are losing, but Dopa's just making sure that can't happen. And Dopa will outscale as an Orianna onto this Zed. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this here. As I said, this wasn't supposed to really be a full VOD review, as more so hopefully I'm able to give you like some of the concepts that I use into comparing, and then you can go out for yourself, because maybe you're not a mid main, maybe you play jungle or ADC. All of these things work the exact same. So hopefully I was able to help you out some, and thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitch. I generally try and stream around 4 to 5 times a week, as much as I can. Changes a little bit with school. If you liked, feel free to comment and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to do more informational stuff here on YouTube, make more YouTube content. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you helped out. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to list them below.